And we have now, after we have heard a perspective from an eminent physician, we have now the chance to discuss with two natural scientists, chemists actually. And the first is a lady, and she has been the first female director of the Institute of Chemistry of the Academia Sinica. She is a distinguished research fellow at the Institute of Chemistry at the Academia Sinica. And she has been trying to take the knowledge which we have gained from the Human Genome Project, from genomics, into the world of proteins, of proteomics. And this work has led her also to participate in the Moonshot, in the US Cancer Moonshot Initiative, which is an initiative which she is now building up in Taiwan. I welcome Dr. Yu Chen to join me on the stage and to give her presentation. Please, Professor Chen.
Thank you very much for the invitation and the nice introduction. It's really a true honor to be able to speak with two leading scientists in this occasion. And I know some of the audience here are not medical background, so I think today I want to share a very inspiring process in Taiwan. I am a chemist, but I'm so interested in human beings, making friends, and also human disease. So I try to develop technology in my lab, but eventually we have the opportunity to launch Taiwan Cancer Moonshot program in Taiwan. And that really opened my eyes that even Taiwan is such a small island, but we are able to provide, we are able to devote it on advanced technology and the research. So, in the past 2 years, I was able to be invited as the opening speakers in Asia Lung Cancer Clinical Conference. This year, I was able to be the opening talk in the European Lung Cancer Conference in front of so many physician scientists. So this is a very inspiring process. Today, I want to share with you such process. And we have a lot of experts here. President Situ from NHI is also sitting there. So I just want to share with you that cancer is a very important disease for the world. And even though we have the political boundary, but in terms of the health and the disease, especially for cancer, there's no border. And if you see the statistics from now and the 2050, you could see that it's going to be one of the most important disease for the damage of the human being. So if we want to have the sustainable health, it's very important to find the good solutions to manage, we cannot say fight, just manage cancer. But if you look at the journey of a patient, even though we have so many good medical systems, especially the national health insurance in Taiwan, but we still have a lot of unmet clinical needs, right? So we don't have a good strategy, even for now, for early detection, for prevention. And once the patient is diagnosed, we don't have the so-called precision oncology. We don't have the precision indication about the treatment. At the end, eventually, every patient dies. So from my own view, I think it's very, very important to really understand why it's happening to our patient. Because most of the modern treatment and the diagnosis are from the Western countries. And luckily, thanks to the very nice technology, the big data offer an opportunity to understand our patient. And we probably know that genomic medicine has a lot of impact to the current cancer treatment and the diagnosis. But if you look at the cellular function, gene is like the master, right? And now I am able to speak. That is because of the protein. Protein is actually the molecule that really executes the function. But if you look at the progress about the Human Genome Project and the human proteome, we know so little about the human proteome. And HUPO, the Human Proteome Organization, is the organization trying to assemble a group of scientists to understand, to disassemble the puzzle of the human proteome. Up to now, we know that there are more than 19,000 proteins, but we still have 10% of so-called missing protein, which do not have any molecular evidence. And because protein cannot be amplified like genome, So it's very, very challenging to tackle this issue. We don't have a good assay to analyze the protein, more than 20,000 protein, more than 200 modifications. And so in the past, I'm trying very hard to really learn. My training was actually instrumentation. I heard about 蛋白质, the name of Chinese, 蛋白质, but I don't know why it's the protein. So I learned from the beginning what is the amino acid, what are the protein. So in the past 20 years, my lab tried to develop new technology to provide a much better assay on the complexity of the human proteome. So now we are able to develop technology for personalized analysis. And last year, we are able to provide a proteome analysis for the single-cell resolution. And because of this effort, my lab became kind of famous. And in 2015, my group was invited by NIH to participate in their tissue proteomic analysis in 2015. And that really, I will talk about the history later. That takes 8 months to sign the MOU. I will tell you why later. So, okay. And then, so after that, one day in 2016, that was a Sunday. Please read the content about the email. That was the email to invite me to join the Cancer Moonshot project in the US. And the email told me that I need to fly to New York immediately to join a meeting on Tuesday. And I'm just Chen. Even I have a title of doctor, but I don't have any relationship politically, so I don't believe the email is real. How is that possible? I was invited by Joe Biden, the former president at that time, to join a meeting in the US. Even Taiwan president or Dr. Chen, vice president, was not invited. So I thought this is a joke. It's just some kind of junk email, but it was a right email. So it was a Sunday. I was organizing a conference for 1,600 people. It was typhoon. My speaker cannot fly to Taiwan. I was already crazy. And then I received this email. I couldn't go. I even could not digest the content. And then I got so many phone calls. Oh, Dr. Chen, you should fly to United States. Nobody will tell me who will pay for the ticket. Anyway, I really cannot go because I am organizing a meeting. So that was the story behind, that was the history behind the story. And then I figured out it was real. I got the phone call from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I got a phone call from Science Technology, and also the president of my academic syndicate. You should go. You should go. No, I couldn't go. But then that was the story. So in 2016, Obama announced the project Cancer Moonshot. They consider that cancer is probably one of the most important diseases for US. So if we are able to develop state-of-art technology to provide new strategy for cancer, maybe that would be a good way to prevent, to keep the health for the United States. But because it's so difficult to fight with the cancer. That's why the name of Cancer Moonshot refers to the challenge associated with the cancer research. And after that, there's no border, right? But if you look at the cancer, our patients are so different from the Caucasian, from the different population. And we have different genetic background, we have different lifestyle. Smoking is important for for Western population. But in Asia, most of the patients are never smoker, for example. So we think that it's very important that if we want to have a good strategy for precision medicine, we have to understand what is happening of our patient at the molecular level. And that could provide some information to guide the development of new strategy. And because of that, there's an international version of the Cancer Moonshot. It's called International Cancer Proteogenomic Consortium. And as I mentioned earlier, we signed the MOU with NIH in 2015. And because NIH is a government organization, Academic Syndicate is also a government organization. Because there's no relationship between Taiwan and US, the official relationship. So we cannot sign the MOU directly. We have to sign with AIT. And for NIH, they have to sign the MOU with TECRO. It takes 8 months for all the wording, 8 months, just to sign the MOU. But I told NIH that I only have one criteria. Taiwan, sorry, I have to go back. How can I go back? How can I go back here? Okay, thank you. Thank you. I have only one criteria. Taiwan is Taiwan. It's not Taipei. And the flag has to be there. That's my only criteria. So I told Dr. Henry Rodriguez, who is the coordinator of the program, Taiwan should be there. And this is also a very challenging issue for NIH because there's no political relationship between Taiwan and US. So I'm very happy that this project promotes the very first official relationship between academic Sinica and NIH. And President Chi Hui-wong told me that they really try hard to work with NIH, but because of the political complication, it never succeeds. But I think I just want to demonstrate that once we have a good collaboration scientifically, this is another way to break the barrier of the political constraint for Taiwan. So we are one of the team of the ICPC. And I also want to mention Professor Yi Han-sun. He was actually in New York for brain science research. So look at the beautiful suit and the shoes. Someone from the TECRO, they borrowed the suit and the shoes for him to work to the meeting, to shake hands with Joe Biden. So, but I told you, we organized a conference in Taiwan. So all the team members of the ICPC are actually in Taiwan. So physically, I would say that the scientific launch of the cancer moonshot of the international version was in Taiwan. So this is a very inspiring process. But then after that, that was the challenge. Even though we signed the MOU, but we don't get any funding from the US, every country has to find your own funding. So I tried nearly 1 year to talk to the different division of the different government, except the Ministry of Military Affairs. So, but luckily, I finally got the support from Dr. Zheng Zhongwu, and we had few meetings. And in the first meeting, I still remember he said, "Oh, Dr. Chen, I understand you're Chinese, but I don't understand what you want to do because of the scientific language so difficult, between scientists and the general audience." But then after a few meetings, he finally understand that it could be a good, promising project. So he gave us the support. And so far, I'm so fortunate to get the support from the National Policy Program, 政策度计划. And this is to support the need of the countries. And I'm presenting here, but it's actually a big team on my back. So in this project, this is a very fundamental research project. We want to understand what is happening to our patient. So for this project, we will analyze the tumor and adjusted normal tissue from the same patient with very advanced technology in genomics and also for proteomics. So by that, we are able to understand what is happening, what has been changed from the gene mutation all the way to RNA change or to the protein. And in addition, we also have the very nice National Health Insurance System to provide all the clinical information, questionnaire. So this is a very detailed and a very comprehensive database for every patient. So we are able to understand what is happening for individual patient. And just to give you a very brief view, for example, in the case of lung cancer, we are able to measure what is happening, for example, for the target therapy EGFR. And even target therapy of EGFR has been widely used, but actually there's very little information about whether the patient has an activated pathway or they have good response to the target therapy. So by this kind of technology, we are able to dissect every molecules at the protein level, at the gene level. And that cannot be shown on the general genomics level. So this is a very comprehensive, detailed view for the patient. But when I start to work on the project, there was actually a huge challenge for me. I know protein very well, but I don't do the research for gene. And some of you might have heard about somatic mutation. I heard about mutation. I tried to Google the term. I understand every word, but I don't understand what is the meaning. That means I don't know genomics. I don't know that at all. I have little information and knowledge about that. But I truly believe that team effort with a different expertise is really the key for good collaborations. So luckily, I talked to so many people, from Taiwan. And finally, we have very nice team to integrate the medical expert and also the technology developer. So I always said that the left-hand side, they are the brain. All the medical doctors of a different cancer type, they are the one to propose the question, unmet need, and also the wish list for us. On the right-hand side, these are the workers. We are the workers. We try to address the question by our expertise from genomics, proteomics, and also the big data analytics. So this is really a great team, including other advisor from Chen. And so I think this is the way that Taiwan should do. We are highly integrated, and we have excellent medical care. We have very excellent scientists. I think we should work together to tackle the big issue for our society and the country. So far we have finished the first phase, including lung cancer and breast cancer, and now we are in the second phase of another fourth cancer type. And also I want to comment that when we get the funding from the government, Dr. Wu told me, or Dr. Chen, we don't care about the publication. We only care whether the data could be useful for our community. So we just launched the first data set on lung cancer, and this is a very user-friendly website. Everybody is able to explore the data. You don't need to be the expert. And we hope this kind of data set can help to promote the bioindustry in Taiwan, and also to help our researcher to find new biology and a new angle of the research in the future. And let me show you with the first example. I remember when I talked to the different government division, sometimes I got a negative comment. People may say that cancer is a genome disease. And if United States already did the research, Taiwan has limited resource. We don't need to do that. But look at the issue for lung cancer. The never smoker, why the never smoker, especially the female, got the lung cancer, is still a mystery at that time. And if you look at the lung cancer, people may always also comment that we already have the EGFR as the target therapy, so everything has been perfect condition. The government pay a lot of money for the treatment, so you don't need to do the research anymore. But look at the issue. Most of the people are never smoker. But if you look at the issues here, we have more and more female patients. In 2021, it's the very first time that we have more female patients compared to the male. We don't know why. If you look at the early onset, this is a general issue. The younger generation is a general issue for many cancer types. And if you compare the male and the female, it's another 5 years younger for the female compared to the male. So somehow there's a burning issue for our younger female patients in Taiwan. And so 2 years later, I'm so happy that even Taiwan is a very junior, and we just started the project for a few years. But by the joint effort of the team, we published our first lung cancer study in Cell, and it also appeared in the cover story. So this is such an amazing process, and especially I'm a chemist. So in this lung cancer study, I want to emphasize that we really want to understand what happened to our never smoker. So let me give you some idea about what we found. We found out that there are several major mutation types for our patient. And we found out something called ApoB mutational signature, which is a very extensive mutation on these two sequences. And we found that this mutation signature is much more frequent in our female patients, especially for the younger female, 70%. And we found out that this mutation signature is associated with a poor survival. But luckily, if you look at the immunotherapy, which is still challenging for our Asian patients, that we found that the patient with the ApoB mutational signature has a better response. So now we have a follow-up project. We want to see whether the ApoB mutational signature could be an indication to suggest which kind of patient may be good for the immunotherapy, especially for the female patient. So I think this is document that ApoB mutation signature could be very important for our female patient, especially the younger female. And also we discovered that environmental carcinogens are also important. Compared to the Western population, we have some common mutational signature, but if you look at our Taiwanese cohort, we have additional signature from two environmental factors. One is about the air pollutant. The other one is about the food preservation. So that suggests, especially for the older female, the food diet is very, very important. And also the air pollutant is probably also unique in Asia. So I think this is very important for the health policy issue. So now we have a project working on the database for our local carcinogen. We also need to identify the specific carcinogen for the prevention of the lung cancer in the future. And the last part, we want to see whether the proteomics could be a more direct indication to find the patient. So by comparison of the different patients, we discover a very interesting lay-like patient. That means the patient have the similar profile to the patient from the late stage, but they are in the very early stage. So when we do the validation, we do find out that the EGFR mutation type, one of the mutation type called LA5R, has much poor survival compared to the patient of the other type. So this is the very first time we are able to use a molecular profile to identify the early stage patient, but they may likely have the poor survival. That should be identified for more active treatment and the follow-up. But after the paper was published, I was actually very nervous. We call this patient lay-like, 类似晚期, lay-like patient. But we don't really know whether the patient really have the early recurrence. So in 2022, we have the follow-up data. And this is a very complicated slide, but I just want to show you the final conclusion. If you look at the lay-like patients here, the recurrence rate, 40%, is very, very close to a very late-stage patient. So that indicates the lay-like patient really have the poor outcome. And if you look at the stage 1A, the recurrence rate, 28%, is more than fivefold of the conventional 1A. So this really confirms that proteomic classification is very, very useful to identify the patient with the lay-like subtype. This is new subtype. But identification is not important. Important is how can we do for this finding. So we try to develop biomarker whether we are able to identify the lay-like patient. So we do some detailed analysis from the tissue to serum with different patients. And so far, I'm very happy to tell you that we now develop a full protein assay that is able to identify the patient with the early recurrence at the stage 1A. And so this is probably the very first time that we are able to know which patient should receive more active treatment or more closer follow-up. And this is important to shift the stage to the early stage for much more effective treatment. And last year, we also received a comment from AstraZeneca. They tried to shift the target therapy to the much earlier patient at the stage 1. But based on our data, we suggest maybe we can use this kind of new diagnosis approach to identify the patient that should receive the more expensive target therapy. But even the AstraZeneca already shifted the stage to the 1B, but we also think that the 1A, the much earlier stage, is also important. And because of our finding, there's a new consensus from the early treatment in Taiwan. So the consensus now has moved the biomarker to the need for the stage 1A and 1B. So I think this is an example that the new diagnosis could be useful. And after that, the next question is, does this only occur to Taiwan or this also occur to other countries? And because of very nice work that we published together, we have the side-by-side publication together with the US team in the cell cover. And I want to comment that this is not Dr. Chen. A lot of people feel that I draw myself in the cover. No, because Taiwan, the focus is more on the female. That's why this is a female, and this is from the US team. And I think this kind of international collaboration is very important because we are able to compare the finding from the different cohort. So we are able to see this kind of lay-like or the smoking, non-smoking feature could be identified in the common feature or unique feature. But following this, the United States feel that, oh, Taiwan is such a great collaborator because they started their project in 2006, 15 years earlier than we do. But this is the very first time they have the cover story in Cell. So they feel that Taiwan bring the good luck to their team. So they invite us to work together. And so this is 2 years ago. This started my painful, stressful life. They invite us to work together, and they wait for Taiwan team to finish the data analysis. And then the meeting, the collaboration meeting start from monthly meeting, and now it's weekly meeting. Every Tuesday night is my stressful time tonight. You know, every time we have 50 people join the meeting, but US team is so big. There are 40 people. In Taiwan, there are less than 10, but we are equal. So we chair the meeting, you know, week by week. I'm always so nervous because we don't have so many talent like the big team from the US. But still, because this is the largest global cohort for lung cancer, we are able to ask a lot of fundamental questions. What are the difference of smoker and non-smoker? What are the difference of the genetic background? What happened to the Chinese, what happened to the Taiwanese or Chinese born in the US? What are the factors of the environmental? So I just want to show you, I don't want to go to a detail, but I just want to tell you the lay-like patient also occurs on the US. Male smoking male. And we are able to dissect the difference. So if you look at the very beautiful rainbow plot over here, one color represents one environmental carcinogen. So you could see that for this lay-like patient, it's a combination of the Taiwanese female and the smoking male in the US. So we are able to dissect the molecular level, and please expect our coming submission of the paper. So I want to emphasize that for the smoker, smoking is not the only etiology. There are also other factors that participate and contribute to oncogenesis and the cancer for the smoking male in the US. And for Taiwanese, the environmental carcinogen is extremely important for our female. So I think this is a very important factor that lung cancer is such complex. So I think we need to understand the molecular level. And so now we are working together to submit the paper. And finally, I just want to show you that protein is a very new assay. So in order to prepare for meeting the regulatory consideration, Taiwan also worked with the United States by using a protein mass spectrometry assay. And we already moved to translate this kind of CLIA equivalent lab in National Taiwan University Hospital. So I'm very happy that we are able to really translate this kind of new biomarker assay in Taiwan. But unfortunately, in Taiwan, the LDTS regulation is still kind of conservative. So only gene testing is considered in Taiwan's regulatory part. But protein is not included. So I'm hoping that by working together, we are able to really promote this kind of new protein biomass mass spectrometry assay in Taiwan. So finally, I want to give you some exciting update. Last May, we have the first official science technology collaboration between US and Taiwan, and the White House proposed 2 projects to work together, semiconductor and cancer musha. So I really feel honored that we are able, we will be one of the top interests from the White House consideration. So we will renew we already renewed the MOU. So we want to expand the proteogenomics to the bigger goal to reducing the cancer mortality in the future. And so this is a very big effort, and that will require a lot of joint effort, not only the research, but also the policy and the clinical settings. And finally, this is my last slide. I never imagined that we can go this far. I'm a chemist, and I'm able to speak as the opening speakers in the lung cancer conference in Europe, in Asia. So, but I think we do have a lot of new stuff we have to work together. The biomarker for diagnosis is very important for different stages of the disease. And I think I just want to thank the big team. This is a huge team, and I can tell you that we have very limited resources. So most of the medical doctor has to find the funding by their own. But by working together, I think we can go far. And finally, I also want to thank the US team. Dr. Henry Rodriguez, he's really the one to push everything. He's the one to provide the MOU for 8 months. He write the MOU word by word by himself. So I want to thank our friend. It's not just a colleague, it's now become friend. And finally, I want to show this something you may understand. I think we know Fortune Taylor, right, in our culture. I truly believe this kind of proteogenomics is a scientific fortune teller. We just need to find a way to have the scientific way to show people how to do the learning of the prediction of every patient. So I think my team together will work hard on this direction. And I also welcome the other colleagues to work with us. Thank you very much for your listening and comment.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor Chen, for this very insightful presentation. And I can tell you, as having been a pathophysiologist, I'm very excited about your findings, because I think it points us in a direction where we will be able to really tailor diagnostic and therapy for patients, because we have a much better understanding of the individual pathophysiology, the chemistry, the biochemistry behind this. We will have a chance to discuss with you later on, and I have now the pleasure to once more thank you to you, Professor Chen.